So how many purple pens do you have in your possession now?
In my hand,
Yeah.
tree,
In your
and then I
on
purple fine,
premises. On
purple,
premises.
purple fine point.
Oh my gosh. Multiple pen what would you call that?
Yeah.
Multiple nib weights of
So I
purple
also,
felt tip pens. Jeez.
so I'm also looking for a purple lammy
Are you
safari
like like can you
with
get
purple
purple ink?
ink.
I bet you
Yes,
can.
you can. You can get purple ink.
Interesting.
You can get any color ink, really.
You're just looking for a reason to get another Lammy, though, is what it sounds like. You don't.
I, I don't know if I need another reason.
I'm
It's just like
yeah,
I've,
pretty sure you don't.
yeah.
I'm still
Like,
rocking the Acme Frank Lloyd Wright edition of the fountain pen here. I lost my Lammy. I only had one though, so I mean now I can understand the importance of having backups. Like
yeah, yeah.
it's around here somewhere. It'll be stumbled upon. Look at you. Just I have other fountain pens over
Well,
here
this is just
in
in,
my cool pen holder, but none of them are as good as the Frank Lloyd Wright edition. I mean, there's just something
yeah.
premium about this pen.
Think which one is that? Kind of.
It's Acme.
Oh,
Yeah,
Acme.
yeah. I'll hold it in
Is
front of my
it
face so
that
maybe.
sort of looks like the same one as my Darth Vader edition?
Oh yeah. See,
Because
my
every
camera just refuses to focus on it because I have the
exactly.
I there it goes. There it goes. I have the eye tracking focus thing turned on. So
See,
this
so
is
I
for
have
the
all these.
thumbnail, people. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah. Wait.
There you go. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Nice. You have a full spectrum of Lammy.
I do declare.
Have enough pens
Uh,
to turn it into a
but
fan.
but still, this one's sort of grown in. Currently is my favorite, the
That's
red.
the go-to is the red.
Well, that's the one that a friend of mine gave me, and she was a student of Frank Ching, Francis Ching, that we all know, love, and all
Cherish.
know
We
well.
cherish. We
Yeah,
cherish
we cherish.
Frank Ching. Yeah.
And he was teaching her a studio of hers and required to write in red with a red lammy.
Oh, so red ink
It's
in a red Lammy.
I don't know if it was red ink. I'll have to
But
have
do you
her.
have red ink in yours now?
I don't. My signature ink, or the ink that I prefer to use, is blue black.
Oh. I just have black. I don't have blue black, but here it is. It just happens to be on my desk, so I might as well hold that up too. Noodlers. Noodlers
Noodle,
ink.
is that
Noodlers ink
blue
is
black?
this is just black. So
No, 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 no,
I know. You
no.
like the blue black, but
Yes, I don't. I
I,
don't
I
accept.
I'm gonna buy blue black. But see, Cormac, I have a little bit of restraint, which is a word you might look up. I was gonna go through this first. I was gonna go through
Go
this bottle
through
first
this.
before I purchase
That's
and
like
just have a.
telling. That's
What's
like
the
telling
shelf
me.
life on ink? It
Why don't
can't
you?
be that long. I don't. I didn't want it to. I didn't want it to separate and go to waste. Like
Well, but you've. I've got the cartridges for the thing, but I don't have the refillable
Yeah,
cartridge.
I do refillable. I like sustainability. Is another word you might look up.
You mean you also like the ink stains all over your hands?
I can do it. I can actually do it without getting ink stains. 60% of the time.
Lies.
60% of
Lies.
the time.
I have them in cartridges, and I still have ink stains on my hands.
What a loser. Jeez.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I have an image to show you. This is
Ooh.
I'm gonna do a screen share and we're gonna do our best to describe this image to the folks who are just
In your mind's eye.
listening to this. But let's see. I gotta go to a window. We're gonna go to that. We're gonna click share. We're gonna edit all that out.
Sweet.
Okay, check this out. Okay,
Sweet.
what are we looking at here, Cormac? Explain to the audience
Joy. Pure joy
what
is
your
what we're
rods
looking
and
at.
cones are taking in right now.
Just um, yesteryear. What we're looking at, if I have to like actually be specific, we're looking at T-squares, we're looking at rulers, we're looking at drawing and drafting supplies aplenty. We're
There's
seeing Stadlers, we're
templates.
seeing,
Oh, Okay.
there's trace, there's just it is
There is
honestly,
design
to
vellum.
me, that image that image is pure joy. That's what that image is.
Okay, so obviously I thought of you taking this picture because how can I not? But at the same time, check out the date on this photo. Look at the top. Check out the date.
You're gonna have to
I
tell me
can't I can't
because
zoom in, but yeah, April 4th is when I took this image. So about a week, two
April
weeks ago,
4th.
2 weeks ago, I took this
Yeah.
picture. So this is a modern picture. Like I didn't chat
Yeah.
GPT. I didn't create this image out of a mere text prompt. That might be fun, something fun to do. But I literally took this photo with my iPhone standing in an aisle in, you want to guess, this is a chain, but kind of a weird chain, kind of a, I wouldn't call it, it's not like a super chain of stores. It's more of like a independent chain of stores. I don't
So
know if
not a
that
blick
even,
or something like that.
what did you say?
A blick,
It is
blick.
not an art store. It is not
It
an
is
art
not an
supply
art store.
store. No,
Ooh,
that is what is so interesting about finding these in this
yeah,
location. I don't
you're
think
gonna
you're
have
going
to
to
get
guess it, but you get
I
one more
I'm not.
guess. One more guess.
Ace Hardware.
Dude, you totally guessed it.
Seriously, I want to move to that place and go to that Ace Hardware.
I
Ah,
was just like, what is going on in the hardware
you know,
store? This is a cool hardware store, by the way. Like
I
there's a section where, okay, weed whacking is a serious business around here. There's a section in this hardware store where they sell steel, STIHL equipment,
yeah,
right? So it's like chainsaws and weed whack. There's literally like 100 of them hanging from the rafters because so many people need a quality weed whacker. Like what a hardware store. What an experience. This is not a big box place to
I
go, and it's so
don't
cool.
know if anybody truly appreciates Ace as they should, because we've got our local Ace and we've got all of the other big box chain stores. And honestly, I Ace one, it's neighborhood. It's got a neighborhood feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
The
Where
the
everybody
manager
knows your
there,
name. Where everybody, yeah.
you know, funny
I've got a
enough,
relationship with the cashier at Ace.
funny enough, they do. And all the people who work there, from like the high school students who are knowledgeable because they have to be.
Right.
Um, you can't just go in. But I mean, it does. It has all these like random things that you just don't expect a hardware store to have.
Oh my
And
gosh. You're
it
you're
is,
prompting an idea in me that I need to look up while you keep talking, but I just can't wait to show you our other Ace hardwares here. Oh my goodness, you're gonna freak. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
oh, I keep talking while I'm
Keep
looking.
talking while I look things up. Yeah.
But I mean, ours is just great. I mean, because there's just so much like random stuff that you can get there, and it's just like, yeah, this I like this place because, again, it is just neighborhood size neighborhood. It they're part of the neighborhood. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't necessarily get everything that you're looking for, but guarantee you they'll help you find it, and
Right.
guarantee you if they don't have it, if you do want to buy there, they'll order it for you.
Well, that's very true, and I have to say, like, I've been really surprised. I don't. This isn't just an Ace Hardware thing, but it's like, how do these people actually know when you ask for a thing? Oh, it's on the bottom shelf in aisle 22.
Yeah.
Like what?
Bottom shelf, approximately about maybe 5 6 feet over from the end.
Yeah.
You know, now you're gonna have to look past the other brand, but specifically what you were asking for is like 3 boxes away from kind of like the big shiny red box. You're
Yes.
like, how?
Yeah.
Because honestly, that's like the manager. He's like, oh yeah, 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 just go over there and go over there, go over there. Look past this, and you look at he literally gives directions like he was Southern dude giving you directions to someplace in the holler.
And I have to say, like, it's hard to get that kind of service, that level of service in a big box store, which is where their apps or their website comes in so
Yeah,
handy because it'll tell you what aisle and what bay to look in. Like
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
best
exactly.
like if you want a big
Oh my
box
gosh,
hardware
yes.
store hack, that is it. It's like, is it in stock? Okay, where is it? And that will tell you because you can never
Yeah.
find the customer service that you're talking about.
So you can go for me, this is my experience. I can go into my local Ace Hardware and I can ask a teenager that's their after school job, summer job, whatever, and they will know where to look. I can go into one of the big box Home Depots or whatever. Look, sometimes I kind of specifically look for the old gray hairs to
Hmm.
see they got to know. And then they pull out their little phone and look on their app too.
They
They're
do.
like, are you kidding me?
Totally.
Like, how do you not know where all this stuff is? Like,
Yeah. Here's
uh,
a store locally. I didn't not expect to be talking about stores so much as we kick off this episode, but there's a plumbing and electrical supply store here called Grover. And okay, this is the place where you walk in, you go through the cash registers to a central information hub. It's right in the middle, front and center, and you get to pull a ticket with a number on it, right? And they've got the
ooh,
red LED
tactile.
sign with which number is they're serving. And these people basically help you personally shop for everything that you need to figure out for your project. And
Nice.
man,
That is
that is incredible service.
that
And
is like 1950s gas station service attendant cleaning off your windshield, checking your oil,
And I mean, they're
filling your
competing with the
tires,
big box stores, right? That's who they're
Yeah,
competing with. And you know what? They've got an angle, and that angle is customer service, right? It's just,
yeah.
and their prices are the same. So why wouldn't I go there?
I, I don't. I think it is a Midwest thing, but I'm just going to throw this out there. There's another kind of big box store that I've only seen in the Midwest called Menards,
Hmm.
and
I've heard of that.
they have everything. They have things that you don't even know you need,
Right.
or and it's just like, oh, I went in for a toilet seat, and then you can come out with like not only the toilet seat you were looking for, but probably one three times better for probably about the same price as like the cheap one at the big box.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just floored at how like these smaller chains, like you said, can compete against like the big boys who are probably buying things in bulk to keep the deep discounts.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Are you ready? Brace yourself, because speaking of things you didn't know you need, and again, people, I'm gonna just preface this and say, like, you need to watch this part and maybe the part where we started talking about stores on the YouTube so you can see the images that we're talking about. I will include the images in the show notes on our website. So if you don't use the YouTube, go to the website arcspeakpodcast.com and click on this episode and you'll see these images. But here we go, Cormac. You ready? Hold it down.
Should I?
Okay. Can you see what we're looking at here? What do you see? What do you explain to the listening audience what you're
Can
seeing?
you zoom in a little bit?
Oh, let's
'Cause
zoom.
that is awesome. You need to, yeah, everybody needs to go and look at I don't even know if I want to explain it. I want people to go and look at this.
This is an
'Cause
incredible thing. This
this
is
is
no
an
run
incredible
of the
thing.
mill
Is
mascot for a hardware store. Okay,
is this made in steel?
it is
Oh,
absolutely, absolutely.
that
I've got
is
a closer up here
tremendous.
version of it, and this is taken with a telephoto lens. Now, okay, so I'm just going to say what we're looking at here. The name of this Ace Hardware, and there's actually I think three of them, is Blackbird Ace Hardware. Okay, so these are the franchises, right? Ace Hardware franchises, and this is the local franchise. They have one here in our local little town that they just built. This is a brand new statue of. People do need to go look, but I need to say this is like a 50-foot, 40-foot tall blackbird statue.
I'm looking at the people next to them, and
Yeah.
yeah, we're probably in like the 40-foot range.
So there's one of these at
Wow.
an older store in the bigger city, Medford, here in Oregon. And it's even bigger than this. And it's out in the parking lot. All right. So it's the greeter and it's freaky. Like you see this thing driving down the street and you're like, what? I have to go. I have to go into
I
this
must
store.
shop there.
I
I mean, those
must see what's
the
going on here.
the eyes are kind of mesmerizing, so it's probably some like backwoods Oregon voodoo
It might be.
that's just like
It's
you
it's
must
it's
shop
hypnotizing you to,
here.
yeah, you have to spend money here. Like it's a requirement. Yeah, absolutely. And you see
So,
there's like a nice little camping scene in front of
yeah,
it here with some like a campfire ring, one of these fancy stainless steel, $400
The
campfire
solos.
rings with some chairs, and it's just like it wouldn't be
My gosh.
intimidating to camp underneath this blackbird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
This
this
that's
is
tremendous.
speaking of cool local options for hardware stores, like again differentiating yourself from the big box. You're not going to find this giant blackbird in a big box Home Depot or a Lowe's, that's for sure. So cool just to go
Nope.
check this out. And this hardware store, this brand new hardware store, has a tap room. What?
A tap.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely. Anyway,
You know,
that was good stuff.
who wonder if ours has got a dis. What? Nope. Forget it. I ain't gonna say it out loud.
Not going to say it out loud.
How I would not even dare to say dispensary.
I live in Oregon. There, I wouldn't be surprised.
But
They're
legal here in
everywhere.
Michigan too.
All right, so okay, so let's get to the meat of this episode. I've been noticing a trend around here, and this is kind of a maybe this is a rural thing. I don't know. You can let me know what you think, but I'm going to share some more pictures because this is one of those things where
This
it's
is
like we have to talk about what's going on here,
so.
right?
This is totally the episode that we push people to the video.
We have to push people to the video. All right, so
Ooh.
we're looking at a barn, right? And this is just something I saw on the side of the road, and I'm gonna zoom in on the part that I'm talking about here, which is check out these giant. What we're looking at is a barn that is definitely beyond its lifetime here. That is, you can see there's a notice pinned up to the. Don't go in here. There's a board over the door. Don't go in this thing. For some
like the
reason, though,
big, like the big holes in the wall won't
yeah,
prevent
yeah,
you from
right,
walking
right,
in there.
right. Look, check out the roof. Like this thing has seen better days, and
It's seen some seriously better days.
and for some reason they're still trying to keep it upright. I don't know why, but that's what I want to talk about is these big blue tie down straps. Like these are like those ratchet straps that you
Yep.
would see on the back of a big rig going down the highway, holding everything down, attached to these giant concrete barrier blocks for weight displacement. And they're my guess is they're kind of going up and then wrapped around the top plate of this wall, kind of a thing,
Yeah.
right? Just to kind of
Yeah.
keep this thing upright. And so they've got four come alongs here that are attempting to keep this building staying up because obviously, and I've noticed other buildings which are right around this, other barns, really old barns that are all kind of leaning in this general direction. And it's like there's one that actually is still being actively used, and it's seriously cocked to the side, so
Mm.
no good.
That's fantastic.
So those are some blue, beautiful use of four tie-down straps to keep this barn standing. So I mean, this if I was a structural engineer, right, this would be my solution because this is how you do it on a farm. You use what you have, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is exactly what happens. Okay, so
It's
here's a
ingenuity at its
new
finest.
building. This is a new steel building going up. So I mean, I said this is like a trend that I'm noticing, and you'll see an extensive use of tie down straps, kind of just
Hmm.
keeping this building from racking. And my guess is because there's no paneling on it yet. Like this,
I would say that those, probably the sheathing is what they're intending to
the
get kind of
shear.
for the shear.
Yeah. And so this one has many going in many different directions. You can see them just kind
Although
of,
with all the purlins and everything else in there, you'd think that
you would think.
no,
Maybe it's just like proactive, like they don't want it to get out of square. Some of
let's
them are a
go with
little
that.
loose though, so I'm not sure. They're kind of flapping in the wind. And then on the same property, here's a wall that is
No
over a road,
way.
and this wall
Uh,
has, and you can see that new building kind of off in the background. You can see that tied around this pine tree, we have these straps going up and then over these kind of turrets that are on this wall, and you can see how bad that wall's leaning right there. Not good. And
you-
straps seem to, and so two different properties. I could probably find more straps if I drove around a little more, right? But this is the
Probably
structural
seems like a
solution to oh crap, like stuff's falling over.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought, a fun architectural thing. I bet most people don't even notice this kind of thing when they're driving around, but this is one of those things where it's just like, what do you do when your stuff's fallen over? I mean, do you just let it fall over? Like these aren't going to endanger anybody. I mean, it could if it would surprise somebody, if it just happened at the
Right.
wrong time potentially. But for the most part, like you can't. I don't know. Can you save these things? I have no idea if you could like re-straighten that retaining wall that is obviously
I was going
compromised.
to say that retaining wall looks a little. I mean, actually, both the first image of the barn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, that's beyond repair
Right.
and replacement. So that's a let nature take its course, drop and start over again.
That
And
wood is probably
um,
not even. It's barely wood anymore,
I was going
right?
to say it's not wood
It's
anymore. It's
mostly air
exactly.
or fungus, right? It's like yeah, it's just one of those things that especially in this environment where we do get more rain than where I used to live in Southern California where a wood structure seemingly just lasts forever. Not really, but for a long time up here it's a little bit different. We're not in the super Pacific Northwest where things are actually wet and spongy when you push on them, right? But here it's definitely not. And that
It's
barn's probably 100 years
super,
old, you
super
know.
Pacific Northwest.
Mm-hmm. We're not
So,
in the super wet Pacific Northwest. So
gotcha. Okay.
so
So it's
have you like give me your experience with structural tie down straps. I mean structural Velcro, structural caulking,
so
structural tie down straps.
it is interesting that you bring this up.
Okay.
And it might be because you were a recipient of one of my of one of my
You're
texts
giving away the
that
magic. This was just going to
I
be a magically synergistic, like what serendipitous moment here, and you're giving away a little too much information here. Like I've been.
so it's not that you've been prompted to, but it was kind of actually fortuitous that I send you this and you're like, wow, that's an interesting trend because I've seen something else. But so what you showed is you showed these really kind of interesting in somewhat rural kind of solution to a problem.
Baling wire
Um,
and twine, and yeah, that's what we do.
you know, it's kind of that DIY, and it's just like
Mm-hmm.
whatever you have to kind of hold stuff together is kind of like what you want to hold together, right?
Yep.
So let's say, for instance, I don't know, you've got a multi-million dollar project.
Mm-hmm.
You don't expect to see things like that, do you?
Mm-mm. No way.
Okay, well,
Spe-
let's
Especially
let
when
me let
they're
me show
designed
you.
by an engineer.
Yeah, let me show you a picture. So this is the one of the main buildings, main focal point of a new campus emerging, Florida Polytechnic Institute. You may look at this building and say, wow, that looks familiar. That seems to be like a project I might have seen from an architect maybe named Santiago Calatrava.
Like on the
That
cover of something, right? This is
on
one
the
of those
cover of multiple
iconic
things. Yes.
iconic Calatrava structures for sure.
So it's a beautiful building that really has an interesting kind of take on Florida, on that kind of protect yourself from the sun, but almost this dappling effect like you would get if you were sitting underneath a series of palm trees and stuff. And let me show you another
Zoom in
photograph.
and enhance. Yes.
No, zoom in and enhance. So do we see?
You can see all that beautiful
Yeah, so
lattice
you can
work.
kind of see this like lattice work that has got all of the, it sort of feels like a
It's kind
palm
of
tree, right?
herringbone, like these
Yeah.
rib-like structures. Very, very
S-
Calatrava.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's still in his color palette of white, right? But
Yeah. Exactly. But it feels pretty it's a nice building to be quite honest with you. I walked around it. I walked on the second floor and things and you're just it is a very interestingly immersive building. And so
okay.
let me show you another one, another
View.
building,
You got another angle?
another view. So, when you're in there and gotta kind of find all of my different do. All right. So, now we have where you're inside the space and you're walking around the space. And so what's interesting is you sort of started this conversation mentioning a thing or two about ratchet straps and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So let me zoom in.
Mm-hmm.
Ratchet strap. Ratchet strap.
Oh, no.
Ratchet strap.
What in the world is going on here?
Like all the way at the top. Hold on, there was one in there. Oh, you can sort of see it here. Ratchet strap. And so
I wish we were on
you're
Zoom
like,
right now because you could actually be like redlining this photo.
yeah. And you're like, well, that can't. It's just like, well, that may be like an occurrence. Whatever. Now this walkway goes all the way around the building.
It's kind of like a
360.
donut, right?
Yeah.
Like this.
It is.
Okay.
And then if you were up on this upper plaza space, basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let me pull up another one. And if you all bear with me here while I reshare my screen and bring up a really. So here we are again. Image.
This one nails it.
This one nails it.
Oh, we got a video. Okay. Yes.
Got a video.
Oh my god.
Got a video. Now, as you can see as I'm like walking by, more and more start to appear. So let's see here. Just in this view alone, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's basically holding this
trellis.
Tens of millions of dollars worth of a building straight.
Yeah, so what is going on here? Like, okay, because I look at all the steel in this image. There's a lot of steel in this image. And steel doesn't, like when it's all bolted together, it doesn't really want to move. What do you think is actually going on here? Is the building settling? Is it something weird? Or is this wind? Or was this hurricane? What?
My first feeling is that this is all an effect from the recent hurricanes that came through that made landfall on the Gulf Coast and then kind of made their way across the state. And so a lot of these areas were affected by heavy gale force winds, heavy tornado type winds and stuff. And that's understandable, right? Buildings are intended to, like, new buildings, however, are supposed to withstand a lot of that because we've got a lot of new regulations in Florida that cover that. And of course, yes, let's be fair to everybody that, Mother Nature certainly does do a number on new, old, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't care about the codes, right?
It doesn't care about the code. However, this is something that's new, that's spent a lot. So let me actually show you.
What year is this building?
This is within the. This is not an old building. I dare say maybe around 10 years, maybe less.
Okay.
But I do want to show you if I can find it. They've got one more photograph that might be able to answer your question. And that is not it because I've already showed you that one. And there we go. Okay, so bear with me here one more time, everyone. We are making this whole video share up as we go along.
You get to edit. You get to edit all this out. It doesn't even. They're not even listening right now.
They're not. We've lost them.
We lost them.
So here's like this point connection for all of this.
Super cool.
And so each of these kind of like let's just call them these palm-esque type fronds that interconnect together and make this kind of like basket weave all the way around the building.
Mm-hmm.
And they come down and they make a point connection here on this retaining wall to the lake that has this one simple pin connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at it pretty closely. So let's zoom in a little bit. And the pin connection itself, it's just one simple bolt through here.
Mm-hmm.
And my assumption
it's a
is
big
that
custom bolt, but yeah,
it's a pretty big custom bolt. Now, my assumption is that because of the pin connection, there is some built-in flexure and movement in here. However, if you look at it, you look at the way that it's sitting somewhat off center in the plate, that there's too much play in there, and it's given it's giving way to some racking under heavy wind loads. And that's what basically, because the entire basket all the way around. And again,
That's what I was
let's
going
go
to say.
back
Like
to,
the interesting thing about this is like you have to look at it like as these individual pieces,
right.
but also as a whole because it's like building a box beam, right?
Yes.
If you like, I don't know if anybody has this experience, right? But if you have a floor with a bunch of joists in it, right? There's an amount of flex, but as soon as you add the plywood to the top and the bottom, and it
Right.
becomes a box, oh man, like it stiffens up 10x, like way more. And so if you think
Yeah.
about this building as a donut as a whole with all these pieces in all these different directions, like lateral should not be an issue here. It would seem.
No. And so you've got, again, this is goes all the way around the building in that big structural donut shape. And you've got these multiple point connections
Mhm.
at the base, and let's just call it the head because it kind of
Mhm.
like arches around. And then they're interconnected together.
Yeah.
And so you do have a reasonably rigid frame system here.
Yeah. And these are all at diagonals. Like there's tons
And
of
they're
diagonals going on in here.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And and so then the question really is sort of like what happened?
Is it just
Um,
undersized? Yeah. Is this totally just like they didn't design
is there
for
is
that?
there too much play within the actual where the point connection is made, where you've got this pin connection, you've got this kind of U-shaped receiver with your blade plate that comes in there, and you bolt them together. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with the what I'm talking about, but you've got this simple connection here.
Mm-hmm.
I I I honestly feel there's way too much gapping in there.
But there has to be
It,
some, right? Like there is
in
thermal
there has to be
expansion and
some.
contraction
But I
and
mean, if they do this,
yeah.
it's not supposed to kind of like wave in the air like you're
Yeah.
driving by in a motorcade in a parade, kind of thing.
This,
Maybe it's not
like how
supposed to do
the
that.
Queen of England
Ex-
waves. Do
exactly.
you do we do, could we be making a wrong assumption that it has moved?
Totally could.
Could this be that they were just preparing
It
for the
is.
worst and didn't take the straps back down because somebody left their position? Like maybe this is left over from last October's big hurricane.
It could very well be that, and a lot of this and I really couldn't find anybody other than a security guard who kind of approached me, making sure I wasn't
You use
there
spy
under
photos.
nefarious needs,
But
means or whatever.
you
But
did
like,
you did note that like that 1 foot that pin connection that you were focused in on was a little cockeyed
yeah,
there. I mean,
right,
but again, that
right.
could just be part of the natural play of the structure as designed. It didn't look totally out of whack. I mean, so
It didn't, but again, now if we're looking at this, and let's just assume that there could literally be like a couple hundred of these connections that together they would be relatively rigid,
plenty. I would
and
yeah, plenty. It seems
that
like
it
there would
really
be
did.
plenty.
Yeah. And these and unlike the example that you showed of the one structure, the metal building that was going up,
Hmm.
these were not loose.
Right.
These were
Tight.
tight as
Really?
all get out. They were
Oh.
like there was no flapping in the breeze with these, and the breeze was blowing pretty well,
Hmm.
and there was no movement in them. So they currently right now are part of the structure.
Wow. That's really interesting. I mean, so okay, so the call here is for our audience. If there's any structural engineers in the audience and they're
Yeah.
aware of this situation going on at what's it called again?
Florida Polytechnic Institute, or sorry, Florida Polytechnic University.
Okay, so Florida Polytechnic University, the building by Santiago Calatrava, has freaking tie-down straps holding it. and
Yeah.
and not just a couple, like
All the way around the donut.
really all the way
All
around.
the way around.
So
All the way
so
around.
is this some
We're
hillbilly
it's
pre solution to a hurricane, or is this holding something together and there's a lawsuit happening? That's my question.
and I will say this as somebody who grew up in Florida, and I'll give you a good example, like the Tropicana field where the Tampa Bay Rays play.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I totally know that place.
Yes, well, it's a domed,
Sports.
um,
Okay.
it's a domed stadium
Hmm.
where they had the actual dome itself was a tensile fabric.
Okay.
The hurricane came through, basically started ripping it,
Hmm.
and it no longer has a roof anymore.
Oh, wow.
And much like the ratchet strap solution, I really honestly thought that, let's just call it cooler heads, would have prevailed and they would have just blue tarped it, because that is a thing that Florida does. That
Yeah.
if you drive,
Raid
we were
Costco.
driving through the beaches, and like virtually every roof had a blue tarp over it, because the blue tarpon is like
And
the
what's this
temporary solution.
for? Temporary solution for what? Keeping water out,
Temporary
keeping
so
water from going under
keep
shingles and all that stuff. Because like, what's
Well,
it?
probably missing shingles or some roof damage or something like that. So you cover over your roof with the big blue tarp. Um,
Structural
and
tarps.
what was funny is that when I was talking to people about the trop, I had said they missed the opportunity to just blue tarp in it. And of course, everybody just kind of got a chuckle out of that, because the Florida architects that I was talking to knows that's the solution in Florida is blue tarpon,
Blue tarpet.
blue tarpon.
That's the solution for everything.
But in this particular case, this is a ratchet strap kind of thing,
Hmm.
and
There's no
yeah,
place
it's
for tarps on a Calatrava building, but ratchet straps are acceptable.
yes.
Yes.
Well, what's interesting though is like when you're walking around the building on the outside, they're strategically placed where you can't see
They
them.
kind of blend in,
Uh,
right? I mean, yeah,
yeah,
there's
they
all
did.
those diagonals, there's all those shadow lines, and they're on the inside of
Well,
the walkway,
that's
right?
why when I first showed the picture, I was sort of zoomed in. I was even looking to see if I could
If
find,
you could find them,
you
yeah.
know, the, some
Strategically placed.
indication. Is strategically
Nothing,
placed.
nothing to see here, people.
It's architectural ratchet strapping.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That's great. I mean, so I'm really happy to know that it's not just a rural farm hand
exactly.
solution. Use what you've got.
You
This is used
you
on
can
the
go from
most extravagant structures in the world as a solution, structural solution.
yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Some of the most expensive, most well engineered, beautifully designed ratchet strap.
Ratchet
I
trap.
mean,
I like it.
yeah, ratchet trap. Yeah, exactly.
That building has trapped many ratchet straps.
Exactly.
It is
It's
like kind of a big net, that building, if you think about it. All right.
yeah, yeah,
Well, if you know the answer to what's going on with the Calatrava building, I know the answer to what's going on with the buildings here. It's just like keep it from falling over. Is this
yeah,
proactive? Is this reactive? Is this like what's going on with the Calatrava building? Hit us up, archispeakpodcast.com, and then there's a feedback link at the top. I think it's archispeak.com/feedback if you want to just write into the show and tell us what you think, or leave a comment on the
or
YouTube
if you
of
or
this
if there's
episode.
any architects from Florida or structural engineers from Florida who know the real story, would
Come
love
on
to
the
hear
show.
it,
Let's talk about it.
because we are 100% speculating.
Yep.
It's just enough. I've experienced enough in my life and seen enough in my life and lived through a hurricane or two to see what it does to buildings. And this is very highly suspect that this was either proactive or reactive to
Yeah.
some,
Well,
wind
you
damage.
50 chance, right?
50 chance that,
Good.
yeah,
Pretty good. Pretty good odds that it was either proactive or reactive. Yes.
yeah, I'm 100% positive that I don't know what I'm talking
Yeah, me too.
about.
All right. Well, that was fun. I hope people can check this out on YouTube. See the photos. I'll again include them in the show notes for this episode. But this isn't something that we couldn't let just
Yeah.
go. We had to talk about it on the show because and another question I guess is have you ever had anything like this happen to a building that you've worked on after the fact that you know of? I mean, I don't even know if this is something that we would know, but I can't think of anything where I mean, I've definitely done a lot
No.
of there and you've done this too, right? Where there's like kind of going in and doing this like structural reinforcement of maybe reinforced masonry buildings, way after
Yeah.
the fact,
Yeah.
kind of a thing, where they are saved in that manner from, again, being proactive
Oh
or
yeah. Yeah.
reactive, but still being able, maybe it's keeping the building from, like, there's tons of buildings in Southern California and Pasadena, especially, where they went in and mandated, kind of after the Northridge earthquake, and they
Yeah.
mandated structural enhancements to go back into these old buildings because they're all unreinforced masonry. But then there's also the circumstances where it's like, oh, it literally is starting to fall over. Like, we got to take care of this. And they'll go in and do surgery on these buildings to add
Yeah.
a new skeleton inside the building and tie these things together at great cost,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, as much adaptive reuse as I've done in my career, and I know, and this was a conversation I was having with some students at LTU just a few days ago when we were talking about like what should they focus on, because they were asking about like a couple of different, like, hey, are you going to take this seminar or that seminar? Like, ooh, take that seminar. And it was about adaptive reuse, and they're like, yeah, I signed up for that. And it's because we've got such a huge inventory of buildings that it really is becoming more cost prohibitive to demo and rebuild. And so they are looking for
Sure.
adaptive reuse solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all in the name adaptive reuse. That means it's not being used for its original construction type. And so very often you have to go back in and either resupport the structure, floors, whatever. And there's been many occasions. In fact, the building that I was just on the job site a couple of days ago is probably one of the largest adaptive reuse buildings that I've ever worked on. Almost a 500,000 square feet worth of adaptive reuse. And it's, the
I think you could
original.
just call that a tenant improvement. Seriously, adaptive.
Is that just a small little TI
Just a little
project?
TI project.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they just, what was interesting, they just asked, hey, we're thinking about doing this program here. Can we?
Hmm.
And so doing an assessment on what it was designed for originally, what the original
redesigned
design
it.
of the floor. Well, what the original floor was. I mean, because all of this is under the umbrella of the adaptive reuse project
Mhm.
that's under construction now. And I wish I would have sent myself that picture of that particular of the building, and just kind of like seeing some of the additional steel and everything else that we're putting onto this building, so that basically a building that was not designed to even support the facade that we're putting on. Now we've gone back in and we've done a lot of structural enhancements to add more structural steel so that we can support the facade, support the floor, upgrade the floor loading so that we can have a higher capacity of live load. But, so then the question that they just recently asked was, hey, could we potentially put this particular program there? I'm like, well, the bigger issue is that now you're introducing a more dynamic load to it. And so it's not designed for that. There's like, and so there's all of these like things that go into place. Yes, sir.
I know what you could do. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe pick up
Start
some
over.
ratchet straps.
Ratchet strap. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, if you're just
Structural ratchet
introducing,
straps.
yeah, structural ratchet straps, or some blue tarps, structural.
Yeah,
tarpage.
there you go.
Yeah,
Exactly. Because it's just, like, and I think that the growing need for architects and structural engineers to understand how to go back in and do all of this work is limitless in the future. I mean, it's good that people are starting to see that we should save and protect our building inventory in the U.S. I mean, because we are the slash and burn kind of like, oh, it's only 30 years old. Let's get rid of that and build a new one.
right.
You're like, but
Well, I mean, if you think back to the Deborah Burke presentation at MDC, where she talked about, showed a lot of adaptive reuse projects. That was really the theme of her work, and the floor-to-floor heights were low, and they were really dark. There's only windows at the outside edge, and they're going in and turning an old whatever it was sewing machine factory into something totally different, complete, like on the other side of the spectrum, different community center or whatever you want to, shelter, women's shelter, I think was the one that I'm thinking of. Yeah, and
I remember,
it was like, well, we want to cut giant holes in these waffle slabs, right? To get a lot of daylight in. We want to bring in a giant light well that cuts through multiple
Hmm.
floors, and we want to create these amazing spaces because the floor to floor height's so low. And it's like, well, yeah, conceptually, super cool, super cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Structurally, like a serious design problem, and I mean that in the best way. Like this is one of those things where there will be people who will raise their hand immediately and be like, "Oh my god, we can't do that. That costs way too much." It's like, well, we don't know yet, right? That usually that's the first response, and so let's try to find out. And they were able to pull it off to great effect. Like, I mean, it totally changes the character of the building while still utilizing the bones of the building
Yeah.
and really being surgical about it. I mean, they had to do it very carefully, but they came out with some incredible results. And to your point about reusing these old spaces, but still making them actually work with whatever the new program is for these buildings, is a really really cool design problem. And I mean, it's the benefits are like, yeah, you get to keep that building. You don't have to tear it down. You don't like the sustainability, the carbon aspects, all of those things about it are a win. Those go in the win column, right? I
Yeah.
mean, but I mean, they take some serious. It's a serious challenge too for the design team to be up to that. And I mean, the engineering of it is absolutely incredible.
All right. So you just, sorry, I have to pull this up just because and I was just like, oh man, I don't think that I have this picture anymore, but a quick search on my phone. Yes, I do. So I got to show you this just because, and I kind of wish that we would have figured out a way, but I called it my waffle slab Parthenon, which is, it was a building that we were working on. You can kind of see all the
Mm-hmm.
way around it, the waffle slab. So we came
Mm-hmm.
in, we reinforced it, we cut the waffle slab open because we needed
Nice.
to, and then, so now you just have this like amazing, like
Huge light well.
shot through that, unfortunately we filled it with plumbing and mechanical and all of this other stuff because the floor to floor height was so low on
Yeah.
this in such a deep structure, and it was a lab
So
building.
this is just a shaft, like you.
Yeah, unfortunately,
It looks
unfortunately, it
so
ended up
much
being
cooler
just a,
like this.
I know, right? And you look at this and you're just like, oh man, look at this. And then of course it didn't
Oh,
end up this way, and
right.
it hurt, but it was just one of these, you were talking about that and I was like, ooh, wait, that
Yeah.
reminds me of this one thing that we
So
did
cool.
that unfortunately we didn't do it this way. But, what was not out of view is the fact that we completely removed all of the exterior facade and went in and put in glazing and all that other stuff. So we still got some light in there.
Nice, nice, nice.
You know,
Very cool. Uh,
but
who would have
yeah,
thought? Who would have thought that some ratchet straps would lead to this fun discussion?
I
But they
know,
did.
right? They did. And visit your local Ace Hardware.
Yes. Support your local Ace Hardware for actually
Yes.
having an aisle with drafting supplies. That's so
Yes.
cool. Yeah. That's
Now,
so
guess what
cool.
I'm going to go do? I'm going to go
Right.
look at my Ace Hardware, see if they've got some drafting
I
supplies.
would. I am expecting a report. Thank you very much, sir.
I will. Bet they've got some purple pens.
It's like your gang sign right there.